Hello and welcome to this edition of Inside Digest. I'm your host Kirk Day, along with my co-hosts Noah Byrne and Nick Miller. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the Seattle Kraken and how good they did in the playoffs. They're like the truth behind their success. They had immense success in the playoffs after beating the Colorado Avalanche and then losing in Game 7 to the Dallas Stars. Those are some insane teams, and they actually surprised a lot of people. I know they surprised me for sure. I'm sure they surprised you guys too. They did very well. So we're going to be talking about them in this video and how their success managed to be so good and how they did so good in the playoffs. But before we get into this video, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more content from us. The playoffs are well underway. We're heading to the conference finals now. The teams are set. The game's starting in a couple days. Very, very exciting. We got a lot of stuff planned as well. If you want to see it, make sure to subscribe. So, right now, like I said, we're going to be talking about the truth behind the Kraken's playoff success. You know, the Kraken have one of the deepest rosters in the NHL. Forwards and defense, as well as goalies. They have a plethora of goalies. But their lineup is so deep, and they're played insane. You know, look at their lines here. These guys are absolutely dominant down to the fourth line. You know, there's no line that I wouldn't trust to put on the ice at any point. All four lines could play. You can rotate them with confidence. They had immense success in the playoffs, like I said. The points here, played 14 games. They had two 7-game series against some of the league's top teams in Colorado and Dallas. Beat the defending Stanley Cup champions in the Colorado Avalanche and lost the Dallas Stars in Game 7. But they managed to take Dallas to a Game 7, which a team like Minnesota couldn't do. They beat Jake Ottinger in a few games. They played incredible. But the depth was the main thing that I think that got them their success. They didn't have to keep players on the ice. They didn't have to double shift players. They could rotate anybody when they wanted because they trusted who they had in those situations. So what do you guys think about this success that the Kraken have had? I mean, they've looked really, really good throughout these playoffs.
Oh, yeah, big time. You know, not to discredit what you're saying there, and then, depth is a huge factor into, going on big runs in the playoffs, but I got to talk about their fans. I've said it in videos previous. They have a brand new arena there. I'm a big Seattle Seahawks fan as well. So, but their fan base and all their sports teams just always rally behind their teams, and I think that was the reason why they got so far. They were. I'm not sure if it was an exact sellout, but I know from the games that we watched, it seemed like it was pretty close. So I think the big X factor for the Kraken in general is their fans. I got to say it.
I'm gonna say their X factor is it's probably two things. They've got the goalie. Philip Grubauer proved me wrong. Like, he absolutely proved me wrong. Like, if you look at his stats there, he played phenomenal throughout the first two rounds of the playoffs. And I mean, the other thing I was going to say is that their players are all dogs. Like, they will do whatever they can to win. They're playing, like, I think Brian Boucher said last night on the broadcast, he said that this team will do anything they can to win. And if there was an embodiment of a player on that team, it'd be Yanni Gourde. That's what the Seattle Kraken are. And we know Yanni too. Yeah, and Kevin Bieksa said these things.
Did you see what Kevin Bieksa said? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that entire team will do whatever they can to win. And when you got a bunch of guys buying into a system like that, you've got a hot goalie, coach who knows what he's doing, and Dave Haxtell, you're going to have success.
Yeah, it seems to run in the expansion team system that, like, they're dogs. They're giving up the expansion draft. They know that they got a grudge against their team. They want to win every game to prove that team wrong. Happened with Vegas. The expansion draft in 2017, they went to the Cup Finals in that year, wasn't it? Seems that teams now in the expansion draft have an advantage by picking players who are already NHL caliber. There's no bad player in the league, realistically, and teams know they can't keep everybody they want. Happened like this year with Jared McCann. Leafs couldn't protect him, so Seattle got him. He was an incredible player for Seattle all year. He was dominant, played very well, got hurt in the playoffs, came back, didn't get enough done to get the advance to the conference finals. But, that happens. That's all you can do. The team's in their second year. They had a 40-point jump from last year, being third last in the league, I think it was, and now the 100 points this year. Seattle, I gotta say, I think they're in for a very, very good run. They have their first this year, and they also have 3 second-round picks this year. And, they've only been in a couple drafts, but the guys they've had, Matty Beniers, he showed he's ready. He's NHL ready. He's an NHL player for sure. He's no doubt. He didn't show any doubt at all. He will win the Calder this year, almost guaranteed to. But Seattle, they got it. I think in the next few years with that, if they keep the same core, because they pretty much can. They don't have anybody that's exceedingly old. they can continue on this and only go up from here. They also have guys like Vince Dunn and Justin Schultz this year on defense, who I think also exceeded expectations just like Grubauer. The guys, I think, I don't know the point total for Vince Dunn, but it was very, very high for a defenseman. He played incredible, but
60 points or something, I think.
Yeah, well, there you go. That system, they're running as well the defense here. You can see pretty deep. Vince Dunn, Adam Larson, Jamie Lexiak, Will Borgen, Carson Soucy, and Justin Schultz. You can't beat that defense. It's the same as the forwards where you can rotate all three of these lines without hesitation. There's no guy that on that I wouldn't want on the ice. It's going to be that for, I think, the next few years for Seattle, because if they get rid of a player like that, they can gain him back. Just in a similar style, pretty much what Tampa's doing with their bottom six, just rotate them out each year. But I'm very excited to see what Seattle has planned for the next few years. They're in a good spot. Very, very good spot. They have their fans. They have very loyal fans, like you said, Noah. And they've got some stuff ready, and I'm going to be excited to see what they can do in the next few years.
And don't forget they're going to add Shane Wright to that next year.
I wanted to say it as well.
There you go. That's another player who maybe could have made a difference in the playoffs this year if he was on the team, if he stayed in the NHL. Never know. It'll be impossible to tell now. But they have some goalies as well. They have Grubauer, they had Martin Jones, they have Joey Daccord. They're not shy in any department on any position at all. So we'll see what they do. But what do you think that what they could have done more to get a bit further in the playoffs? And I'll start with you, Noah.
I don't really know. I thought they played phenomenal, and I mean, just the fact that they took Dallas to Game 7. I mean, I didn't have it in my bracket, but I thought Dallas was a very good team. So I mean, maybe get another defenseman, maybe get another bottom six forward. I think, I think if you keep continuing to add depth to that team, I think they go very, very far.
Yeah, not too sure exactly what they could add that they don't already have, because they have a lot of depth at every position. So
true.
It's harder to say, really. Like maybe another defenseman to replace Borgen or something like that on the top four. That would definitely help. It never helps, or it never hurts to add a defenseman, to have depth, But I thought they did phenomenal this year for what they were. I thought the second round was probably all they were going to get realistically. Like they were in that game until the very end, but at the same time, they beat the Stanley Cup champions from last year in 7. It was a very hard fought series. They went to a Game 7 with a team that might go to the finals this year and might win it all. So I think that's really all you can ask out of them. That's more than you can ask out of the Kraken this year, really, with the challenges that were put up against them. Yeah,
no, like you said, they could have added another superstar. I know they're going to have one in Matty Beniers soon. He's almost there. He's just under superstar level solely because it's his rookie year, but he will be that superstar that they're looking for. But if they added another one this year, if they had one, I think they probably could have taken that extra step.
Yeah, another thing, I don't know how the tires were rolling, but I heard they were kind of in on Erik Karlsson as well from San Jose. Maybe that might be a guy they could explore. I know you're probably thinking that they don't have, all the young players, like a plethora of young players. But, if I'm San Jose, I'm asking for Shane Wright and, a bunch of picks. So I think that takes the Kraken, like we were saying, from here. I think they're here with, obviously, the Norris Trophy winner.
Yep. Any superstar, I think they take that next step. I think they surprised a lot of people by beating Colorado in the first place. Surprised me by that. I didn't have Seattle winning. I had Colorado winning, I think, in 5 or 6. So, I mean, that says it right there. And taking the Dallas Stars, who steamrolled the Minnesota Wild, frankly, to a Game 7, nearly beat Jake Ottinger, who's been one of the best goalies in the playoffs. I think he's let in 7 goals in 2 or 3 different games that series. So, I mean, it's looking good for Seattle. That's pretty much what we got to say about that. That's all we got for this video. If you liked it, make sure to like the video, and also make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any more content from us. We have a lot of exciting stuff coming. More stuff like this. More stuff about the draft, which is very, very soon. Just about a month away now. So you make sure to subscribe if you want to see that, and thank you for watching.